Troublesome police. That's how a New York judge describes the cops sent out by the NYPD to stop and search blacks and Hispanics without cause. The ruling by Shira Scheindlin says there is overwhelming evidence that a racially biased attitude has led to thousands of illegal stops. The lawsuit she is dealing with accuses New York City police of deliberately targeting black and Hispanic neighborhoods. It says officers are supposed to do this on a regular basis and that they will be punished if they don't. The NYPD says it has made over 200,000 street stops from January to April this year. According to the department's own report, this is almost 25% more than last year's record. However, New York's mayor, Michael Bloomberg, has defended the program. He says the practice has helped prevent thousands of deaths. To discuss that a bit further, we're joined now by Mr. Roger Wareham, who is a human rights attorney, who is joining us now on the line from New York. Mr. Wareham, thank you very much for joining us. Now, Mayor Bloomberg and the law don't seem to be getting along, considering recent accusations of spying on New York's Muslim population and now this case of stop and search by profiling. Now, will the NYPD and Bloomberg finally have to give in on this case, or will the mayor argue out his case again using fear tactics?
I think politically the mayor is going to argue his case using fear tactics, which is what he does, and which has really been the basis for the creation of a police state, not only in New York City, but throughout the United States since the events of 9/11, 2001. The attacks on New York and Washington were used as the justification for passing the Patriot Act, and other measures which have really eroded the Bill of Rights, the freedom of speech, the freedom from surveillance, and that are supposed to be the bedrock of U.S. democracy. So the mayor's going to continue to argue it. Not sure what's going to happen in the court. I think it's a good sign that the judge gave the case a class status action. But the policy of stop and frisk is really just an extension of the policy of racial profiling, which has characterized this country from the time that Africans were brought here to be chattel slavery, and has really continued to this day. So this is nothing new, but what it is the policy that's now just being employed and justified as having a reasonable and a legal and a rational basis.
Right, so then should one expect that because of this case, racial profiling against any group will cease on the part of the NYPD, or will they still find a way to keep up the status quo?
I think that regardless to the ruling, this country was based upon racism. It was a racism that was developed to justify the trade in African human beings. And that racism is what has influenced and pervades the implementation of the law in this country right to this day. So even if there is a decision, they're going to try and find a way to continue the policy. It's reflected in the fact that the incarceration rate of the 2 million people who are incarcerated in the United States in some form of detention, the rate of incarceration for black people is 4 times that of our presence in the population. So that's the practical effect of racial profiling. A court decision will be important because if it's in our favor, it will give us something to challenge it. But I don't think that this country can give up its policy of racial profiling because it's what it uses as a justification to try and explain away any problem that occurs. And the main problem that's occurring now is the economic crisis that this country finds itself in.
All right, we'll have to leave it there for now. There's Mr. Roger Wareham, a human rights attorney, speaking to us from New York. Sir, we appreciate your insight here on Press TV.